very much, Mr. Chairman. I thank the entire panel, particularly Mr. Hunt and Ms. Smith, for your testimony today. I'm going to start off with the Lifeline. Ms. McAuliffe, since Florida is a net payer into the, and I represent Florida, as the chairman said, since Florida is a net payer into the Universal Service Fund, it only underscores the importance that cutting down on fraud and waste, abuse, again, within the system is imperative. We and the FCC must continue to improve and adapt the program to modernize reality so that only eligible customers receive Lifeline credits. Can you describe the effect that an uncapped budget, as currently constructed, affects payer states like Florida? And how would a firm budget at any level around $1.5 million or $2 billion better protect against waste and unbalanced Lifeline disbursement?
Sure. So in terms of a firm budget, kind of keeps things more in line with, because Florida is, what, over 300 million payee or into Lifeline. And that's money that could come back to Florida to help Florida residents who need that. So in having a budget to kind of quell this waste, fraud, and abuse, we'll make sure that the money stays more towards where it goes. And kind of in reference to the mobile only, all I am testifying here is about having a firm budget, and that is very important to have that cap.
Very good, thank you. Next question. It's apparent for you, again, Ms. McAuliffe, it's apparent that the rampant fraud and abuse within the Lifeline program 5 years ago has been addressed to some extent. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. You note that since 2012, abuse has been cut by nearly $670 million. That's significant. And yet we see instances just last week where a company can bypass federal safeguards to enroll 99.8% of their subscribers using stolen identifications or even the lack of identification for eligibility. The ratepayers are the ones that truly suffer, in my opinion. What is the best way for us to add teeth to these eligibility requirements so that so it can act as an actual deterrent? Can we completely cut some companies out of the program at a certain level of noncompliance? Can we cut them out?
There should be, and I believe there are deterrents and abilities to cut companies' participation if they are acting in an abusive way. And I think the National Eligibility Verifier will definitely help with that, since it won't be the carriers self-certifying. It will be a third-party agency self-certifying or certifying that the people they are submitting are part of it. And I think the level that you have, 135% of the poverty line, which is about $32,000 for a family of four, I think that won't be an issue with the $1.5 billion budget cap, because that's about where we are right now. So anyone who is currently participating in Lifeline will still be able to continue participating.
And that's so very important, obviously.
Yes.
Mr. Hunt, your testimony today to the committee is truly admirable, and we appreciate so much. I cannot imagine how your loss must affect you every minute of the day, but your perseverance and determination with Kerry's law is remarkable. Thank you so very much, sir. It's common sense legislation as far as I'm concerned. We got to get this done.
Thank you.
Shifting to Director Souter, thank you for being here as well. In your experience, where do these multi-line telephone systems present the biggest challenges to their users? Would the notification system that alerts a central site to the exact location of the emergency as required under Kerry's law cut down on response times in nursing homes and other elder facilities? Also, what about schools?
Schools would be included in that group of multi-telephone line subscribers as well. We're very fortunate in our region that there is a large level of compliance, but this is a very large nation, and there are many hotels throughout the states, and I cannot speak to how many of them are voluntarily being compliant, but clearly I would hope that if this law is passed, it will be a significant incentive so that this problem that does exist in many places will be rapidly addressed and not waiting until the incumbent telephone equipment has lived its life cycle, which could indeed be many years away.
Again, thank you, sir, for your advocacy. Mr. Chairman, can I ask one question of Ms. Smith? If we don't have time,
Yes, no, yeah,
I
not a
can
problem.
enter to the record.
No.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Smith, your testimony today obviously is equally heartbreaking. Your loss is unconscionable. In today's modern age of telecommunication, anything short of immediate, in my opinion, is frustrating. It should be immediate. I commend you for working so diligently for so long across our entire country in pursuit of this change. As you know, this law is already saving numerous lives that might otherwise be lost. That in of itself is extraordinary, so thank you so very much. Can you elaborate a bit who this law, as enacted by almost half of the country, I think 22 states, is benefiting the most? Who is it benefiting the most? How could this affect residents in my state of Florida? And I understand we do not have a law on the books.
Thank you, Congressman. Unfortunately, your state has not passed it yet. Who does it benefit the most? The lives that have been saved. I testified to an elderly gentleman who had had a stroke and could not talk, but he could dial his wife's phone. He was recovered. There was a suicide attempt. The young lady had left a note, and she was tracked and found in time. There was a baby, and this made news last year in our area, who was carjacked. Her parents' car was carjacked, and that baby was found in less than 40 minutes, and the police stated it was absolutely because of Kelsey's Law. Those are the people that benefit. And an additional benefit, I believe the very first time Kelsey's Law was ever used in Kansas, there was a young lady murdered, and she was taken to another state, but she came home, and her father does not believe she would have come home. She wouldn't have been found had it not been for Kelsey's Law. Those are the people that benefit from this law.
Thank you so very much. Appreciate it. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.